This video is definitely for you if you are somebody who is trying to lose some weight on a plant-based diet, or maybe you are just interested in adding a little bit of plant-based foods so that way you would be able to see better health results and better benefits in terms of overall weight loss, reducing blood pressure, cholesterol, lowering your blood sugars, and just having a healthy overall life. So my story is that I've been on this diet since 2019. So it's been almost 6 years when I was following a plant-based diet. And then what happened is in 2020, I was going to university for obviously for exercise science, for nutrition. I was studying all of that, and then COVID happened. When COVID happened, we went into a lockdown, and then I was already pretty lean, to give you a little bit of a background. But what I decided to do, I decided to give myself a challenge. I was like, hey, I'm gonna try to get as lean as possible. So most people are gonna say, hey JJ, it's easy for you to talk, when you're leaner, when you're skinnier, when you're younger, it's way easier for you to lose weight. Yes, it is, but you have to understand one thing. The more you are on the leaner side, the harder it becomes for you to lose weight. So for example, if there was like a 200-pound person and they're just starting their weight loss journey, it's gonna be way easier for them to start. Why? Because they have more body fat storage, so their body is not gonna be so stressed out. Meanwhile, when you are on a leaner side, it is way harder because the leaner you are, the less body fat, and the more your body is gonna be stressed out, the harder it is gonna be to lose weight. So to give you a little bit of a background, I was already pretty lean, but I decided to lose additional 20 pounds of fat just to see how it goes. So what I did is I installed a calorie tracking app. I was tracking my food, and in theory, as you've heard, most people say, hey, you have to be reducing 500 calories to lose weight, to lose around a pound of fat a week. So that's what I did. I cut down my calories by 500. I got in a 500 calorie deficit to be losing around a pound of fat a week. And then what started happening is I started getting hungry because I was just reducing my food portions. I was eating pretty healthy, adding some fruits, some vegetables, but it was pretty strict and I was getting hungry. I was constantly hungry every single day, and my energy started diminishing because I was getting pretty lean. So fast forward 4 months afterwards, I was able to lose around 20 pounds. And then what happened is I was feeling miserable. I had no energy, I had no motivation, everything suffered. And then what happened afterwards, I was like, why am I even doing this? And then I started eating all of the stuff that I was restricting. I was eating peanut butter straight from the jar, I was buying popcorn, I was eating cookies, candies, crackers, junk vegan food, all that stuff. And then the weight ballooned back up, and then after a couple of months, I gained like I think 30 pounds. And then after gaining those 30 pounds, what happened is I was trying to lose that weight again. So what would happen is I would binge eat, and then next day I would wake up in the morning, and then I would skip breakfast, just try to be eating lettuce and then cabbage and lots of vegetables, lots of lower calorie vegetables, and then I would go on my stationary bicycle and I would try to cycle it for several hours every single day. And then towards the evening, what would happen? Hunger would kick in and I would be binging. And I was in this vicious cycle for an entire year. Like, can you imagine that? I would lose some weight for a couple of weeks and then I would get back to it, get back to it. And it wasn't sustainable. So most of you guys, what you are doing is, again, same thing with any kind of diet, any kind of challenge, any kind of people are doing juices, following all sorts of programs, all sorts of protocols. But what you have to understand is that if you're able to sustain it for a month, for 2 months, for 3 months, but afterwards you're not able to do it anymore, you go back into your old eating habits because you're sick and tired, just like me, of restricting your food, of feeling hungry, of not being able to eat outside of the plan and go out to eat, then what's gonna happen? You're gonna give up and you're gonna go back into your old eating habits, and then the weight is gonna go back up. So that's what happened with me, and I had an eating disorder, I had a binge eating disorder for an entire year. I wouldn't want to wish anybody that kind of like to go through what I went. So After about a year, I got sick and tired of that, and then I was able to develop a method that I currently call the PBM method that allowed me to start losing weight again, but my body wasn't so stressed out, it didn't think that it was like a diet. So the downside was that, of course, I was going through an eating disorder, so I had to start losing weight way slower. But the upside was this method allowed me to lose the weight without counting the calories, and then I was able to reach my goal weight, to get in shape again. And I have maintained that until now. So it's been like 5 years since that has happened, and fingers crossed, I'm still at a good body weight, I'm still pretty lean, so I'm happy where I am at. So a few things you have to understand what was wrong with that method. I was counting calories, nothing wrong with counting calories and learning about that a bit, but you have to understand you're not gonna be counting calories for the rest of your life. Secondly, I was too big of in a calorie deficit, like 500 for me was too much. For people who are just starting out, that's great because you're not gonna be feeling that hungry. You're gonna have more body fat storage, so you're not gonna, it's not gonna be as restrictive for you as it was for me. But for me, it was a big deficit. Third thing is I was so obsessed about protein. I was drinking protein powders every single day. At the end of the day, looking at my protein intake and seeing that, like, oh, have I hit this number? Because I thought I was gonna lose all my muscle, and that's not the case, because afterwards, I got sick and tired of it, where I don't even count protein anymore, and like I still have a pretty good amount of muscle. So those are all the points that were addressed with the PBM method. And then lastly, biggest thing is hunger and restrictions. That's why most diets fail, is because when you are hungry constantly every single day, you cannot fight that. Your body is gonna take over and is gonna overcompensate by forcing you into eating the food, and then the weight is just gonna go back up. So if you're hungry, it means it's not working. If you're feeling restricted, if it feels like a very restricted diet, if you're not able to go out to eat, if you're not able to eat off of plan, it's still not gonna work because it's not gonna be sustainable. So at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is that I really hope that you were able to get some insights from my story. I didn't have any kind of structure to go through this video. I just wanted to share some thoughts with me. So the PBM method, that's what has allowed me to lose weight and keep it off, and that's what I've helped so far 70 people to lose at least 10 to 20 pounds, and we have kept it off until this day. So if you're somebody who would also be interested in learning about that method, and you're sick and tired of following restrictive diets, counting your calories, restricting your portions, and just being hungry overall, then don't hesitate to comment down below or shoot me a message on my Instagram, and I'll see how I can help.